This is a Huddle Sports Network broadcast. You can find us on Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, Facebook, and of course YouTube. Get all your NFL news here first.
He has time.
He's got him. Side touch is there. Leaping grab. Touchdown. Touchdown.
Good morning. Welcome to another edition of Ken and Ken in the Morning. It is Thursday. Good morning, Sarah. How you doing?
Woo! Lakers got sent home in 5.
Yeah, I don't really care about basketball. I guess that makes the anti-LeBron people happy. Good morning, Mitch. I guess it was too busy of a day for me to try to follow basketball. Oh, come on. Yeah, yes, it was a busy day, so I didn't follow any basketball. In fact, I didn't follow much of anything. Long day yesterday. But the wife has a new knee. As she gets another step closer to being the bionic woman.
No, they were just talking so much shit before the series started that Lakers were just going to dog walk the Timberwolves and they were going to win in 5. And so it felt so good to send their asses home.
Yeah. It seemed like, I guess basketball has to have its moments. Playoffs, right, for basketball and hockey. Baseball's starting up. So it's that time of year. This is nice because this is that time of year where there's kind of a little drop off for our football stuff. Really not much going on. I mean, the Bills are trying to extend James Cook at running back. The Eagles declined Kenyon Green's 5th-year option today. Who's Jordan Travis from the Jets? I mean, he's retiring.
He was the Florida Florida State quarterback that broke his leg and they drafted him last year.
Oh yeah, there we go. And the medical personnel say he should leave the game. So okay. So he's retiring. They're already reworking Stafford's deal he just signed. I guess trying to give him more pay bumps. It's kind of like now we're just kind of like
I guess now that it's after the draft and teams have an idea of their rosters, done their patching up all the stuff that they wanted to do, but wanted to wait until after the draft.
Yes. Good morning, Joe. Good morning, Nicholas.
Good morning, Nicholas.
Good morning, Matt. Yeah, Joe, that's how I feel today. I am exhausted still from yesterday. What? We've been downgraded, guys. We're on a 32-inch TV today, not the 85. Oh.
How do you even live with it?
What now?
I was asking Nicholas, how do you even live with it?
I know a 32. I didn't think they made those
A
anymore.
32, like, can you see everything clearly?
Dude, I watch everything from my phone. I have a TV, but I don't even watch TV.
I know, I'm just giving Nicholas crap.
You know, my son does the same thing. He's got like a 60-inch TV or something like that, 60-inch TV in his room, and mounted to the wall, looking all nice and pretty, and he watches everything on his iPhone. And I'm like,
Yeah, we're like, we'd rather watch it from this tiny phone that's gonna blind us.
yeah, exactly. I watch everything from an 85-inch screen TV in my man cave. Yeah, I try not to watch anything from the phone if I can avoid it unless I'm on the run. Yeah, so really, I was gonna look up the cap real quick to see if they adjusted the cap. I don't think all the rookies have signed yet, though. I don't think.
Oh, the Bills also signed Elijah Moore yesterday.
Yeah, I saw that. I don't think the draft. Yeah, the draftees are not included yet. They have not. Obviously, they haven't signed. So it'll be interesting to see what the Bears' money looks like after they signed the rookies. Actually,
there's a rumor going around that Tom Brady told the Raiders not to draft Shedeur Sanders. Skip Bayless was putting it out there.
Skip Bayless is such a freaking he will because he like supposedly loves Tom Brady, but he will do anything for clips. I can't stand that weasel.
Well, I mean, it's like look at all those guys like Skip Bayless, freaking
Stephen A.
Yeah, they're just like if they were on X, they'd be called engagement farmers. Well, I think they are on X. They're nothing more than engagement farmers. That's all they're doing is that's it. They're not media. They're engagement farmers.
Yeah,
so like,
you should have seen the video.
What now?
Like Skip Bayless has a 28-minute video out on YouTube right now where he's just glazing Shedeur the whole time.
Yep.
And you know what? I don't fault Brady. If Brady is a decorated quarterback, and if he doesn't want Shedeur, who the fuck is Skip to say that? Oh, Brady's wrong.
Yeah, it's good question here from Matt. Where do you guys think some of these vets end up? Like Amari Cooper, Keenan Allen, J.K. Dobbins. There are a couple other good free agent vets still out there.
I think they don't sign until like it's training camp or the season starts and people get injured.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and I'm gonna say they'll go to teams that need depth at wide receiver. I'm just kidding, dude.
You're too funny.
I don't know. Like, I mean, Cooper. I've heard that the Browns are interested in him, in getting him back. I've also heard the Cowboys are interested in getting him back.
So right now,
but at a much reduced price tag, of course.
Here's some notable free agents that are still left. I'll just go through a list real quick. Obviously, Aaron Rodgers is still out there. Keenan Allen, Von Miller, Amari Cooper, Brandon Scherf was a guard from Jacksonville. Marcus Williams, free safety from Baltimore. Matt Judon is still out there.
Oh, really?
Preston Smith is out there. Shaq Mason is out there. Zadarius Smith, Mosley, Kendall Fuller, Stephen Gilmore. Ooh, what? A Viking out there? What? But he's kind of old. All these guys are kind of almost all these guys are in their 40s or 30s. I'm sorry, mid 30s. Somewhere in their 30s for the most part. The only one who's under 30, well, he might as well be 30. He's 29.8 years old. Is Joseph Noteboom, who is a tackle for the Rams. His last contract. Is out there. tight end. C.J. Henderson. I mean, Devondre Campbell, Shaquille Griffin.
I don't think anybody's ever going to sign Devondre Campbell after that stunt pulled last year.
Yeah.
Nelson Aguilar, Carson Wentz, Shaq Thompson, DJ Shark. He had some good games last year. I'm surprised he's still out there. I mean, there's a pretty long list of free agents. I mean, that's just a partial. I mean, some of these guys probably just retire. Keenan Allen, maybe he retires. I don't know. Von Miller, maybe he retires. Amari Cooper, same thing. They're all 10-plus years in the league. Interesting list. Morning, Jason. Morning, Brent.
I think Von Miller probably should retire. Von Miller should probably retire. Amari Cooper, he could still he's starting to slow down a little bit, but he still could play.
He didn't do anything on the Bills last year.
He didn't do as much as he usually does, but he had a good year for the Bills, a decent year. But
yeah.
Like they were saying it in the playoffs, like, Amari's starting to slow down, and his speed was what was.
And his drops. He had some big
Yeah,
drops.
and the drops. Yeah.
Yeah,
Judon just got traded last season, and he didn't do shit.
No, he didn't do anything in Atlanta. Yeah, so I mean, but this, I think.
Did the Falcons trade a 3rd-round pick for him too? Man, they keep getting fleeced.
Yeah, he wasn't the only. Who was the other guy last year? Everyone's clamoring for, and he did nothing.
Guys, what would you do if your kid released a TikTok video and got you fined $100,000? What would you do to your kid?
What do you mean? Who's TikTok
You know
video?
how Jeff Albrecht got fined $100,000 from the NFL because his son pranked Shador?
Oh, it wasn't a TikTok video though. He was doing prank calls.
Yeah, but I mean, he posted it.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Dumbass.
Yeah.
What would you guys do if your kid lost you $100,000?
I'd send him to boot camp.
Yeah. Yeah, you're going to a government paid vacation for about 20 years. Enjoy.
At least 4. I mean, I can't make him re-enlist, but you know what I mean. At 17, we're going down to the recruiter's office. Like, I might not even make him enlist. I'll just, go down there and scare him. Be like, hey, and you don't even get to pick the branch. I'm gonna put you in the Navy.
Oh no, I'm gonna throw him in the Corps.
Yeah, the Corps.
Because the Corps, they get no choice. They don't even get to pick their job. The Corps picks it for them.
Oh well, but they tell you get to pick your job.
Yeah.
Ask me how I know, because I was in the delayed entry program. I actually was going to be a Marine when I was like 17. And, crazy how it worked out.
They'll tell you, but then, actually the Marine Corps tells you what your MOS is going to be. It's like they almost got my oldest son, and he calls me up and says, yeah, I'm wearing the MEPS on Wednesday. I'm like, why? Well, the Marine recruiter just wants me to go down there and see how I test. I'm like, you're not going. He's like, but why? Because when you get there, you're gonna put a contract in front of you, and they're expecting you to sign it. Has he talked to you about a contract yet? No. Yeah, you're not going. If the guy doesn't like it, he can call me. The guy never called me. He goes, well, my dad, the major, said I'm not going. So that Marine recruiter never called because he knew you would have gotten an ass chewing. Yeah, the Corps, man, those guys, man, they'll tell you, well, you get to be one of 3% of Americans who get to say they're are eligible to be a Marine or something like that. It's like, well, 3% of Americans are eligible to join the military, period. Well, you get to call yourself Marine, okay, and that $7 buys you what? A cup of coffee? A $7 cup of coffee? Okay. Oh, I get to pick my job. No, you don't. Yeah, Luca, we take everyone in the Army, it seems, and we're also the biggest branch. Needless to say, my son's in Air Force ROTC now. So.
Well, they if you score high on the ASVAB, they make you all kinds of promises. I know that. They tell you, oh, you can do intelligence, and you can either pick your MOS or your duty station. And some guys are dumb and choose their duty station.
Yeah, here's the one they don't read their contract.
Yeah, they end up peeling potatoes in Japan.
Yeah,
like they want to go to Japan, but they end up peeling potatoes. Or they end up like doing something stupid, and it's like.
My recruiter said I could be a nuclear sub-scientist. Yeah, your contract says needs it in the Marine Corps. Sorry. It's like, read your contracts, people. And I don't know how many more NFL contracts are going to be given out. I think we might see some extensions after some of this. I don't think anyone put themselves in like cap danger with the draft.
I mean, the Saints, but they were already in cap danger, weren't they? Like, didn't they restructure a bunch just to get under the cap?
I don't even think. Let me see if they're under the cap. Yeah.
How much do rookies make?
Depends on where they're drafted.
Like in the first round, if you're top 10.
Yeah, Luca, I agree with you. I'd peel potatoes to go to Japan too.
Hold on, let me look up the look at the scale. Let me look up the Saints real quick and see what kind of cap hell they're in. There it is, Saints. The Saints are currently have 27 million in cap space.
See, how did they pull that off?
Magic.
And they didn't get rid of anybody. Like, how did they pull that off?
They probably restructured somebody.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They did a whole bunch of restructures, which is just even worse because now it's like you just put yourself back in cap hell for the next 3 years. Yeah. Sarah, you said something, I think it was yesterday or the day before, that was very poignant. You said, I don't understand why the Saints, they're so scared to rebuild,
Yeah, they are,
like
though.
It's like they're terrified of just tearing it down. It's like, because you know what I think it is? They built a good team with Kamara and all them, right? And it's like, now that team is aging out, and they're like, but if we let them go, like, we're going to go back to being the same old Saints. Like, we're going to suck again. And, like, who knows how long we're going to suck. So we need to suck as much juice out of this orange as we can, dude. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, and the thing is that you don't even have Drew Brees anymore. Just rebuild. I mean, I don't understand. Because if you're a competent organization, it shouldn't take you more than like 2 or 3 years to rebuild. But then I don't know.
But that's my point, is like, what if they feel like they got lucky? What if they don't really think that they're a competent organization? What if
they
they're
need to fire their GM?
Yeah.
I mean, if you don't have faith in that your GM is going to be able to build a Super Bowl roster, why are you hiring him to be the GM?
Yeah.
Okay. Broski, I got the answer. I had to dig it out. So here's the answer to the question on how much these rookies make. So this is based off the rookie deal. Okay. And I'll give you an example, and I'll do some ascending. So in 2020, Joe Burrow's rookie contract was worth $36.19 million for being the number 1 overall pick. Okay. Last year, Caleb's was worth $39.48. This year, the number 1 pick will make $43 million. According to Spotrac, 48.8 to over the cap. So it just depends on who you believe.
Damn, that's a lot of money.
So we'll just go over the cap. Over the cap says number 1 pick is a $48.84 million contract. The 10th overall selection, right, gets $26.64 million. So between
wait, is that for like the 4 years of their contract, or is that just for this year?
Yeah. No, I said it was for the contract, not annual.
Oh, okay.
So the difference between going number 1 and number 10 is about $22 million.
Damn.
So if you went from number 2 to number 9, it costs you $20 million. So the drop off from 1 to 2 is about $2 million. The drop off from 2 to 3 is about $1 million. From 4 to 5 is about almost $3 million. From 5 to 6, it's $5 million. From 6 to 7, it's about $4 million. From 7 to 8, it's about $4 million. If you go 9 and 8 get paid the same for some reason. And to go from 9 to 10 is about $1 million. And then go from 10 to 11, it's about $2 million. And then another $2 million, and then another $2 million. Then once you get to 14 and 15, you get paid the same at 20.96. So it goes down $1 million from 13. And then it's like pretty static. It's pretty close, like a couple $100,000.
Man.
So some big drop-offs in contracts.
So no wonder Shador is so pissed, because he went from a top 5, potentially a top 5 pick, right, at 40, like 35 million to 300,000 a year.
Yeah, he lost millions.
He lost like $30 million.
So pick number 155, right? He was pick 155.
Yep.
In the 5th round. He got his contract is worth $4.61 million.
Yeah, so then if he was, let's say he was picked at 5 or 6, what would his contract be?
$42 million difference. If he was picked at 5, it's like a $35 million difference. If he was picked at 6, it's about a $30 million difference.
Yeah, so if the Raiders had picked him at 6, he'd be $30 million richer.
Yeah.
Ouch.
Yeah. They only make over $10 million a year on average. If you look at Caleb right now, last year's number 1 pick, according to Over the Cap, his contract is actually his base salary is $960,000, but then he gets a signing bonus. He only counts towards $8.974 million on the cap, so he's not even making $10 million this year. He makes literally just a hair under 9.
Yeah, and then if they exercise their 5th-year option, that's where it like spikes up big time. It pretty much almost doubles, I think.
Yeah, like it depends on position. Like for a quarterback, I think it's like $30 million. Running back, it's like 10 or 9 or something like that. But yeah, then there's all kinds of other math that comes into that. It's position, it's an average of positions and other stuff, I think.
Well, because it involves like Pro Bowls, all pros, because then they were saying like Jefferson's contract went up because he had made like consecutive Pro Bowls and all pros, and so his contract was worth more, even though it was a rookie contract.
There we go. We're back.
Okay.
We're back on the big TV. Let me see if I can find out how that breaks down. Give me a second, guys. I'll find that. If my computer will. There we go. Yeah, if I could only learn how to spell, I'd be.
I thought I heard you guys talking about peeling potatoes in Japan earlier. I was like, it's a down time of year if that's the topic.
Oh no, because we were talking about the Marines and like how they let you either pick they tell you that you can either pick your MOS or your duty station, and a lot of guys that join the Marines want to go to Japan, and so you end up like peeling potatoes in Japan.
That's a new one.
Well, that came about because I was asking them what would they do to their kid if their kid had cost them $100,000. You know, like how Jeff Albrecht.
And I said I would take him down to the recruiter's station.
Nice.
He's going to boot camp.
Seriously.
And I'm taking his enlistment bonus as part of the $100K to pay it back.
Yeah, I mean I'm surprised he hasn't gotten fired. Honestly, the coach.
I don't think he should, but I mean,
I don't think he should have gotten fined that much either. But I'm just saying, like how it is. Anything that you know how it works with the woke NFL.
So for players selected in the top 10 picks, the salary for the fifth-year option is a set to an amount equal to the transition tender for the player's fourth contract year. This is calculated by averaging the top 10 highest prior year salaries for players at the same position. That's for 1 through 10. Through 11 through 32, the players picked between 11 and 32, so the rest of the first round, is calculated by averaging the 3rd through 25th highest prior year salaries for the player's position. This is generally lower than the salary for top 10 picks. But the thing, too, about remember about the tender is it's fully guaranteed. So there's really no room. So, like, for instance, if this were Caleb's fifth-year option, right, it would have been worth $34.3 million. For running back, the fifth-year option this year is worth 9.7. For a wide receiver, it's worth 19.7. For a tight end, it's worth 10.8. For O lineman, it's worth 19 mil. For D end, 19 mil. A D tackle, 18.4 mil. A linebacker is worth 19.9 mil. A corner is worth 17. A safety is worth 13. And for special teams is worth 5.4. That's if you're a top 10 pick.
Yeah, so if you're a D end, why wouldn't you want to play on that fifth-year option? Like, 19 million, dude? Like, if you can't make 19 million work for the rest of your life,
well, yeah.
I mean, even after taxes, you're taking
if you look, I mean, this is your top 10 pick. I mean, and that's for 1 year guaranteed. So that's a pretty good little average. But I mean, players will I've never seen a guy not play on the fifth year. They may get the fifth year and then they get their extension that includes the fifth year, right? But I've never seen anyone say I'm not going to play on a fifth-year option. At least since they started doing it this way, which was in 2020. Oh, good morning, John.
Keenan's not even a Bear anymore.
Well, John's out in the woods today, baby. He's got a little turned around.
He's high on deer piss.
Yeah.
What do you say? What week will Keenan start over Bust Williams? There he is, John Dorn. Yeah, Keenan Allen might just hang it up. I don't know. He might have tacked on the additional. What do they call it when you go to college, like your freshman year, like the freshman 20 or the freshman 10 or something like that? That might be where Keenan Allen's at. He might have just packed on the extra weight and is like, you know what, feels good. I don't really want to work it off, and I'm gonna hang it up.
I mean, he's made enough money in his career.
He sure has. And he played a long time.
I mean, he's got several Pro Bowls. Doesn't he have a couple All Pros too?
I think so. He's a nice player. He was a nice player.
Yeah, it's possible, down the road he could be a Hall of Fame candidate. I don't think he's a first ballot guy, but,
I don't think he's a Hall of Famer. He's a great player, but I don't think he's good enough to be in the Hall of Famer.
Like I said, I don't think he's a first ballot guy, but I could see him getting some consideration depending on how many All Pros and stuff he has.
He's one of those guys. I think if he would have stayed a little more healthy, he probably would have had a better chance. But he did put up some like deceptively good numbers that, like, at least me, I didn't assume he did until you go back and just like look at his numbers. You're like, yeah, man.
Career notes: NFL Comeback Player of the Year in 2017, 6-time Pro Bowler. He was on the All-Rookie team in 2013. 974 receptions, 11,274 yards, 66 receiving touchdowns. That is your accolades for him.
Nope, he's not making the Hall of Famer.
11,000 yards? 11,000 yards is pretty good, man.
That's a lot of yards.
It's not Jerry Rice numbers, but it might be the lower end of Hall of Fame. Like it might just,
Yeah, like when I hear the name Keenan Allen, I don't think Hall of Famer, but that's why people vote and take a look at everything. I was glad to see Antonio Gates get in because that guy, man, he was such a unique player when he came on the scene.
He averaged 11.6 yards a catch in his career so far. He averaged. Let me see where else. Rushing. 17 fumbles, 10 of which were lost in his career, so that's not terrible. His best year was 2017. He had 1,393 yards, where he averaged 13.7. He had 102 receptions that year with 6 touchdowns. I don't know if he's a Hall of Famer or not.
Yeah, his touchdowns are kind of low for how long he played.
Yeah, 66 touchdowns in his career.
Yeah, and he played for like 12 or 13 years. That's like,
He averaged about 6 a year is about his average. About 6 a year. That looks to be about his average there.
Yeah, that's not Hall of Fame worthy, but 11,000 yards, I mean, it's decent.
How many years did he play?
He came in the league at 13, so he actually played 10 seasons because he missed the whole season for injury. So he really only played 10 seasons, but 11 years, technically.
Yeah, probably not a Hall of Famer, but pretty, one of the better non-Hall of Fame wide receivers, probably.
Luke,
I don't know. Harrison Smith is going to get into the Hall of Fame, but I think he should be in the Hall of Fame.
Luca, real quick, to answer Luca's question, yeah, they do get to choose, right? They can always sit out, right? But that's what I'm saying. It's like these guys usually most of these guys have picked up their 5th-year option and then signed an extension that included it. But we haven't really seen anyone since Le'Veon Bell maybe say, yeah, I want a better contract and sit out. They always have that option.
Yeah.
So Moonstar calls it 9.5 seasons for Keenan Allen. Von Miller will be in the Hall. He'll go.
But you're talking about the same Hall of Fame that didn't induct Tim Brown until 2015. And Tim Brown was a consensus first ballot Hall of Famer. So, they're going to put Eli in the Hall of Fame.
So let's see what Tim Brown's numbers were obviously much better. For Tim Brown, I mean, look at though. He was a second-team All-Pro in 97, 9-time Pro Bowler, NFL reception co-leader for a year in 97. He was an NFL kickoff return yards leader in 88. He was on the 1990s All-Decade team. He was the All-Rookie team in 88. Let me see. Then if you look at his numbers, 14,000 yards, almost 15,000, just shy of 15,000, 100 touchdowns, 4,500 received yards, return yards with 4 return touchdowns, just over almost 1,100 receptions overall. I mean, and he played how many more years? 98, 88 to he played the Bucks when that was funny. He played what?
16
years, so a little bit longer career than Keenan Allen, and Keenan Allen's numbers are actually pretty darn close.
That's what I'm saying.
But he doesn't have all the and really Tim Brown doesn't have any accolades. I mean, he's got 3 more Pro Bowls. He was a reception co-leader for 1 year. That's different. And of course, Keenan Allen didn't do kickoffs. But other than that, the accolades aren't much different. So there is a good case for Keenan Allen to make the Hall of Fame. A very good case. If you're doing apples to apples.
Dude, that team with Gannon and Jerry Rice and Tim Brown, that team was cool.
Yeah, and then Phillips, that kid was something too.
It was the best. It was the best Raiders team I ever saw.
Yeah, I love watching. I actually went to see them play against the Rams in St. Louis.
OMG, broski. Sorry, I just remember. So I saw a tweet this morning, and somebody compared Leggett and McMillian to being the next Carter and Moss.
Yeah, that's not happening. I mean, neither one of them is nearly even close to the speed of Moss. And to be like Chris Carter, I mean, neither one of those guys can run routes either. They're kind of both just like big body receivers who aren't that fast, who can't run routes. So,
Hey, broski, you know Dante Thornton's comp was Randy Moss, right?
is that the receiver the Raiders drafted?
Yeah, the one from Tennessee. Out of Tennessee.
Yeah.
His player comp was Randy Moss. He's 6'5".
Sarah and I were talking about it last night. That Jalen Hyatt or whatever on the Giants. I mean, he won the freaking Bolitnikoff Award. He can't even beat out Darius Slayton. You know what I mean? So, Tennessee
you're not hearing me
receivers.
say he's Randy Moss. I'm just saying his player comp was Randy Moss.
Well, player can't comp as someone high and on drugs. Yeah.
I think the player comps are mostly that people are high on drugs when they do, and also like they won the Bolitnikoff, they won this, they won this other college award. Who gives a shit?
Except for Broski's player comparisons, they're pretty spot on.
I mean, look at those when these guys win these college awards, right? Oh, well, this guy didn't win this college award for nothing. Great, but look how many guys in the NFL, who go in the NFL. Well, they won this college award for this, that, and the other, and they go to the NFL and they don't do shit.
We'll find out, broski. Who was your player comp for Genty? Didn't you say like Trent Richardson or something like that?
Well, so that was a popular one I saw from people who don't think he was going to be good. I said his ceiling would be, and I figure this is very, very generous because I don't think he's even going to be this, is Aaron Jones with a little more muscle. Yeah, but really, my player comp was Adrian Peterson that the Chicago Bears drafted.
So
yeah, it was the 2022 or 2023 Adrian Peterson drafted in the 6th round out of Georgia Southern. That was my player comparison. Yeah.
Okay, the one I saw though that just made me go, what? Was when some guy said that Genty's floor was LT and his ceiling was Peyton.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I mean, so that's what I'm saying. Like these awards they win in college and these player comps, they are just clickbait to make the average fan who doesn't know better, the guy who doesn't pay attention to football all year, but then tunes in on draft night to see what his team is going to do to make them feel like, because these guys don't know anything about these guys. It makes them feel better. Oh, well, no, Kuiper said, and he's a draft specialist. He said my guy that we drafted is as good as Randy Moss. No, he's not. I mean,
if your floor is LT and your ceiling is Walter Payton, then they might as well just induct him into the Hall of Fame now.
Exactly. That's what I said. I mean, we might go with the Mitch comps. This quarterback is as good as
Jared Goff.
Yeah, Jared Goff. He's the next Jared Goff. Okay. Yeah, the comps are stupid. The comps are really stupid. I just and just they're just between that and these. Oh well, he won all these great college awards. It's like, yeah, but like these guys, a lot of them just it doesn't go anything.
I mean, there's plenty of Heisman Trophy winners that are NFL busts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably more than not. Look at Reggie Bush.
That's what I'm talking about. Whoever just barked.
Look at Reggie Bush.
That's my dog. She's chasing her tail.
And how many Heisman quarterbacks were busts too?
Oh yeah, a ton.
Almost every one. I'm trying to think of a Heisman quarterback that actually panned out in the league. You could argue Jim Plunkett, but only because of his time with the Raiders.
Didn't Lamar Jackson win a Heisman?
I think he did. I think he did his senior year.
I'm gonna get that right. Most of Heisman Trophy winners. Let's go. Let's get this up.
Okay, so here's some Heisman winners. Okay,
Devonta Smith. That's right.
Travis Hunter, Jaden Daniels, Caleb Williams, Bryce Youngs, Devontae Smith, Joe Burrow, Kyler Murray, Baker Mayfield, Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry, Marcus Mariota, Jameis Winston, Johnny Manziel, RG3, Cam Newton, Mark Ingram II, Sam Bradford, Tim Tebow, Troy Smith, Reggie Bush, Matt Leinart, Jason White, Carson Palmer, Eric Crouch. You're like, who? That was in
I
2001.
remember Eric Crouch.
Nebraska.
Quarterback for Nebraska.
Yep.
Chris Ron Dane, he was decent for a bit. Ricky Williams, Charles Woodson, Hall of Famer. Danny Werfel went nowhere. Eddie George was good. Rashawn Salam didn't do anything for the Bears. Charlie Ward, Gino Torretta, Desmond Howard, and we'll end at 1990 with Ty Detmer. Those are your Heisman winners.
Yep.
Okay, now let's look at the
Get his
Maxwell Award.
Heisman back.
The Maxwell Award, this is a running back award, I guess? No. Whatever the Maxwell Award is. Genty won it last year. Penix the year before. Caleb in 22. Bryce Young, Devontae Smith, Tua Tagovailoa, Baker Mayfield, Lamar Jackson. I don't even know what that award is, but that one, Manti Te'o, Andrew Luck, and some good players on that list. What's the one, the other one that
Blitnikoff?
The Blitnikoff. Let's look at the Blitnikoff. Okay, Blitnikoff starting at 24. So Travis Hunter, Marvin Harrison Jr., Jalen Hyatt, Jordan Addison, Devontae Smith, Jamar Chase, Jerry Jeudy, James Washington, D.D. Westbrook, Corey Coleman, Amari Cooper, Brandon Cooks, Marquis Lee. Justin Blackmon won it 2 years in a row in 2010 and 2011. Michael Crabtree won it 2 years in a row. Calvin Johnson in 2006, Mike Haas, Braylon Edwards, Larry Fitzgerald, Charles Rogers, Josh Reed, Antonio Bryant. So you're kind of mix and match there with guys who did well.
Yeah, half of them are Hall of Famers and the other half are scrubs.
Yeah, I was going to say, Blackmon won it back-to-back. He had like a major alcohol issue. I think that was his problem. And then James Washington, I remember when the Steelers drafted him in like the 3rd round or something. I thought he'd be like a good pick, and he just never amounted to anything.
With the Johnny Unitas Golden Arm Award. Shedeur Sanders won it last year. Before him, Jaden Daniels, Max Duggan, Kenny Pickett, Mac Jones, Joe Burrow, Gardner Minshew, Mason Rudolph, Deshaun Watson, Connor Cook, Marcus Mariota, AJ McCarron, Colin Klein, Andrew Luck. I mean, you look at a lot of these college lists and like you get a couple names, okay, they made it, but the Lombardi, which is the nation's top player. This will be a good past winners. Well, Kevin Banks won it last year. Leetta Latu won it. Will Anderson Jr., Aiden Hutchinson, Zaven Collins, Ugo Amadi, Bryce Love, Jonathan Allen, Carlo Nassib. I mean, look at Aaron Donald in 13, 2012 was Manti Te'o, Luke Kuechly in 11, Nick Fairley, Ndamukong Suh. I mean, but AJ Hawk in 05, Julius Peppers in 01, he's in the Hall. Terrell Suggs in 02, Tommy Harris in 03. Some good players here, some decent ones, but a lot of players you're like, who? And that's for the Lombardi Award, which is the nation's top player. The Dick Butkus Award. How many good linebackers are still in the league off this one? I mean, I'm not even going to go with the list. It's like not even.
I'm sure Urlacher won that one.
What year was Urlacher was drafted? What? He was the.
He was like 2000, wasn't
he? Yeah, 2000. So let's see here. Urlacher did not win that award.
Wow.
Dan Morgan won.
Urlacher played safety in college. He was a safety and a kick returner.
LeVar Arrington in 99, Chris Claiborne in 98. So actually, Ray Lewis didn't win it either. So, I mean, these college awards are just, not really indicative that they're going to be great players.
It's basically a dart throw like the draft.
Yeah.
Fifth round bust.
Oh, good. John Dorn just keeps them coming. Yeah, Cam was trying. It was 2000 Cam when he came to the Bears.
I'm actually optimistic for Caleb this year. I think he's going to take a step forward. And I could see him finally breaking the curse, being the first Bears quarterback to throw for 4,000 yards.
I hope he does. So
I think it's possible.
Yeah, it's just like, even Heisman is such a crapshoot for those guys doing well.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, here's some Heisman.
Tim Brown won the Heisman, and he's in the Hall of Fame. Charles Woodson also.
Okay, so here are colleges with the most Pro Football Hall of Famers and coaches. No, that's not it. Actually, this is an interesting list. Colleges with the most NFL Hall of Famers. USC has 12. Notre Dame has 12. Ohio State 9. Michigan 8. Pitt 8. Alabama 8. Syracuse 8. Miami 8. University of Illinois has 6. Minnesota has 6. Oregon 6. Penn State 6. And UCLA 6. Interesting list. Notice what schools are missing. Like a lot of these, supposed big football programs. It's funny how much the Big Ten is in there.
Mm-hmm. One of those Alabama Hall of Famers is Kenny Stabler too. But if you look at Kenny Stabler's career numbers, he would not make the Hall of Fame today.
No, the numbers have changed.
And Terry Bradshaw, in my opinion, Terry Bradshaw is the worst quarterback in the Hall of Fame.
No, Troy Aikman.
If you look at Bradshaw's numbers, it's pretty close, man. I think Bradshaw
had
I think he actually ended with more interceptions than touchdowns.
I was just gonna say he has like a 1-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he has more interceptions than touchdowns, actually. If it wasn't for John Stallworth and Lynn Swann and the Steel Curtain, I don't think Terry's in the Hall of Fame.
So Heisman Trophy winners in the Hall of Fame. Let me just pull that one up. It's a shorter list than you may think. All right, Hall of Famers that were also Heisman winners: O.J. Simpson, Roger Staubach, Paul Hornung, Doak Walker, Earl Campbell, Tony Dorsett, Marcus Allen, Barry Sanders, Tim Brown, and Charles Woodson. That's it.
3 of them are Raiders.
That is it. And yeah, 3 of them are Raiders.
Which I think is more than any other team.
I mean, that's kind of like, you know what I mean? That's kind of like, just shows you like all these college accolades just don't mean shit. And that goes back to the original, 6 for Minnesota. Well, but they were old school players, though. I mean, those were more old school players. But I mean, it's the college accolades don't mean jack. But I mean, for the draft purposes, people go, oh, they won this award. Well, we just saw the list of most of those awards, and over half the guys on the list were bust. So it's a 50-50 proposition, kind of like it is with everyone else in the draft. So I hate that when people do A, the comps, and B, like, well, because they won this award, they're automatically going to be a good player. No, a lot of them are scrubs. Rashawn Salam is one that really has always stuck out for me for the Bears. Wins the Heisman, comes to Chicago, and is just a crap running back for the Bears.
Kind of reminds me of Ashton Genty. Yeah.
Well, except that we have Rashawn Salon on tape, and we haven't seen Genty play yet. So let's just hold off on that.
Do you miss Chris Berman going, the Raiders?
Oh yeah. I actually every once in a while I go hop on YouTube and I just watch like Chris Berman go, the Raiders. Like I go watch the old ESPN prime times, NFL prime times with him and Tom Jackson.
Yeah, no, I hear you, man. Those are good. That was a good duo right there.
Yeah.
It is funny though that there are only 9 Heisman winners in the Hall, and most of them.
That's crazy, actually.
Yeah, and well, here's the weird thing: most of them are like old school guys.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, think of that list that I read you guys, right? I mean, oh crap! Now my computer's doing stupid shit.
Yeah, and this is why I try to tell people, like, and this is literally what 2 people who I knew who are NFL scouts told me. Like when you evaluate talents for the NFL, you have to look at their production, but you also have to look at their just sheer athletic ability, and you really have to factor in the competition they played against. And I think people miss that, you know, and it's a big deal. Like you could have put up sick numbers in college, but if you're really not physically gifted, you're kind of like a product of the system, and you didn't play anyone good, you probably will be that bust in the NFL.
Well, here's the 9 guys for the Heisman that got in. Okay, OJ won his Heisman in the 60s. Staubach in the 60s. Hornet in the 50s. Joel Walker's in 1948. Earl Campbell in 77. Tony Dorsett in 76. Marcus Allen in 81. Barry Sanders in 88. Tim Brown in 87. I don't know why they're out of order, probably because of the Hall of Fame class year. Charles Woodson was the last one to get in, and that was in 97 when he won the Heisman. He was a 2021 Hall of Fame. So, I mean, you know, but it started the 60s and the 80s. They actually, those guys, and you look at by position, right? OJ running back, Staubach quarterback, Paul Hornig was what? Was Paul Hornig? Was he a quarterback?
I don't know.
I think he was. He was a quarterback or a running back, I thought.
No, he was a halfback.
Yeah, running back.
Running back. So that's a running back. Joel Walker, I don't even want to. He was so old. Whatever. Earl Campbell, running back. Dorsett, running back. Allen, running back. Sanders, running back. Tim Brown, wide receiver, and then Charles Woodson, corner. I mean, it's like it's ridiculous. It's just so we got a Heisman quarterback. I mean, that doesn't mean they're going to be a Hall of Famer. Now that doesn't mean they're going to be bad. But
no, I think Joe Burrow is going to be a Hall of Famer, and he won the Heisman.
I don't know. He needs to stay healthy.
Yeah, he definitely needs to do a little more of himself. He's got the potential, but he needs to play more and win more games.
He can't be winning comeback player of the year every other year.
Yeah. But I mean, if you look at his numbers already, his numbers are nice, dude.
Oh yeah, dude, he's sick, man. He's definitely one of the top.
He's on a Hall of Fame trajectory. Put it that way.
I mean, dude, if he's healthy, he's top 3 quarterback without even thinking twice about it. Like, you know, in the league right now, if he's healthy, like,
mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's why you don't even have to consider anyone else.
He could really help his case by winning a Super Bowl.
Yeah, he could. Maybe.
Yeah, it's gonna be hard for him to win a Super Bowl without a defense, though.
Well, here's the thing, though. Joe Burrow's got a good case because he's actually been to a Super Bowl, so that's he's got a decent case if his numbers.
He's so good.
Yeah, but at least he's got a case. He's got the Dan Marino case right now, right?
Yeah,
he's got the Dan Marino case. We'll see where his career goes. And last year's
I see a lot of Joe Montana in him. I really do.
Isn't it funny Joe Montana didn't get the Heisman?
Yeah, but I see a lot of Joe Montana and Joe Burrow. Like, just the way he's calm under pressure, and like, the moment's never too big for him.
Yeah, and yet he could still like throw on the run and stuff too. He's not like a running quarterback, but he can, throw on the move. He's cool under pressure. Yeah, he just puts that ball where it needs to be. It's kind of yeah.
So if Joe Burrow was available for trade, how many first round picks would you give up to get him?
3 right now.
Yeah, I think it would be something like that. Yeah. Smells
I would
about
give it
right
up.
to me.
I would give it up, and I would run to the bank.
Yep.
Minnesota. Sarah's like, "Oh, what if we could pull that off?" Joe Burrow with a team like Minnesota would be like, yeah. Actually, Joe Burrow and any NFC North teams would be, yeah.
Yeah. I think Joe Burrow. I shouldn't think Joe Burrow on the Raiders makes them a Super Bowl contender. Just being honest.
Yeah.
Could you imagine Joe Burrow?
Who's got the music? There we go. I was like, Joe faded out and the music came in. I was like, whoa, okay. Like, whoa. Yes,
his outro.
Yeah, that's his new outro, which we're about 2 minutes away from ours. Yeah, I mean, just more of this with the draft. Obviously, we all want to kind of figure out what we got and how good they're going to be, but these basing off these expert, quote unquote, expert comps and their college awards is to quote Dorn, is fool's gold. Right? Those things mean nothing. Those things mean nothing. You got a 50-50 chance of them being a good player if they won some college award. Okay, great. But like for the Heisman, only 9 were Hall of Famers so far. There's going to be a couple more, obviously, that are in the league right now will probably be Hall of Famers. But yeah, this is a tough draft. This draft class is very tough to dissect because it wasn't like any earth-shattering players, just a bunch of solid players. At least that's the way it's looked. Who knows how it could shake out. This could be one of the best drafts in history. If you get like 9 Hall of Famers out of this draft class.
Dude, I love this draft. I really did. I thought it was cool. I thought it was very unique compared to other drafts as well.
Thank you, Nicholas. Yeah, I thought this was a very good functional draft. Which there's something to be said for a good functional draft. You get some good high quality players who are going to have, could have possible.
Yeah, I always look at it like day 3 when you open up day 3 and you're like, okay, there's like 5 or 6 guys. You're like, dang, they have the potential to become starters. Like, how are they still on the board? I think to open up day 3 of this draft, there were a couple dozen players you could have said that about. So I thought that was a little different.
Yeah, it was just a solid draft. We'll get rookie OTA start when? Like next week on Monday? Is that when the rookie OTA start?
Yeah, I'm not sure. The next date I have in my head is the NFL schedule release date, which is May 14th at 8 p.m. Looking forward to that. That's always a big one too.
A calendar alert, and on that last final take for Broski's personal calendar alerts for the draft or for the schedule, we'll bid you farewell till tomorrow morning. So don't forget to be back with us tomorrow. JB is next, and Broski is going to tell us more about his personal alarms on his calendar for when the NFL releases the schedule.
Amen.
Have a great day, everyone.
This is a Huddle Sports Network broadcast. You can find us on Roku TV, Amazon